Good morning and welcome back to Margin. This morning I want to talk to you about how to rewind your lifestyle creep. So let's jump right into it. So much like debt, the lifestyle creep in life is easy to get into. It's easy to expand our lifestyle. It's easy to even expand our lifestyle beyond our means, beyond our capabilities, but it's a lot harder to rewind. It's a lot harder to reverse course and downsize after you have done that. And yet, I believe that many people are in this place, not only living paycheck to paycheck, but also having no margin whatsoever in their finances in the event of any kind of blip happening. So I'm bringing up this aspect of lifestyle creep because oftentimes the lack of control in lifestyle creep ends up being paid out on credit cards, line of credits, and other unsecured debt because people don't have the margin in their personal finances to be able to pay for these things outright. So some of you may remember the VHS, and the VHS had a VHS player and you stuck the tape in and you played it through, but then at the end, you actually had to rewind it. You actually had to either manually or electronically rewind that tape. Of course, anymore, you don't have VHSs, and on demand, you can rewind or skip back or skip forward at a click of the button. And our society is so used to instant gratification, so used to immediate results that getting into debt or getting into a lifestyle that you truly can't afford, you almost expect to have that same result of being able to get back out of it quickly or being able to downsize quickly. But that process actually may not be that simple, and it may not be that painless. And the other aspect that comes to mind is the fact that when you are reversing or rewinding your lifestyle, paring it down, downsizing, getting out of debt, you are focused in on stepping back in order to propel forward. However, when you step back, you're not realizing the ground that you're losing by not continuously moving forward. And there's that flywheel effect that is in place as a forward motion continues and as momentum continues. And when you are stopping to look back and to address the aspects you didn't shore up along the way, it slows down your progress as a whole. So an example of lifestyle creep that I think is affecting most of us right now is housing. Housing is one of those aspects that we have seen large increases over the last 10 years. Most recently, the Federal Reserve Bank of St. Louis came out with its quarterly report that showed that the average home price has hit $387,000. But in my example today, I want to compare a starter home, so maybe a home that you would purchase right out of college, to a more established purchase once you maybe are married and you and your spouse buy the home, or you have a family and need to upgrade. So based on that, when I want to look at two different scenarios and how you can be affected by lifestyle creep from just the housing front. So assuming that with a $225,000 house or a $375,000 house, that you are avoiding PMI, which is private mortgage insurance, which is basically protecting the lender from default, especially post recession, where many banks and institutions got hammered by reduced home sale prices and therefore many foreclosures and short sales that affected their balance sheets pretty heavily. So anyways, all that to say, both of these scenarios take out PMI, so that would require a 20% down payment on a conventional loan. Both look at a fixed 30-year mortgage conventional mortgage at 2.75%, and both factor in the insurance aspects of the homeowner's insurance, the taxes of the property taxes, as well as homeowners association fees and interest, and of course the principal payments as well. So looking at two different mortgages for these two properties, you have one that's a $225,000 house that has a mortgage just shy of $1,000. You have another property that's $375,000 that has a mortgage just shy of $1,700. So there's a $700 difference. And oftentimes many people would just look at that $700 difference and say, can we afford the $700 difference? Yes or no? And they would move on with their business. But oftentimes with that $375,000 house, you're not factoring in the increase in your property taxes. You're not factoring in the maintenance costs or the furnishings or the golf club or the lifestyle expansion from living in a certain neighborhood and the pressures you'll have from living in one neighborhood versus another. And oftentimes people will look at just the payment that would allow them to have X, but they don't look at the big picture. They don't look at upgrading that house every few years and starting that 30-year mortgage over again, and how that has a long-term effect as interest rates, possibly increase, as housing prices expectingly increase, and so on and so forth. So what ends up happening is people pummel their savings or their retirement savings. They rack up the credit cards, they take out a line of credit, or they refinance their home. They do a myriad of different things that just kick the ball down the road, and they expect that their income will grow beyond their decisions, and that could very well happen. There is no issue with planning on your expenses being surpassed by future raises. But the problem lies in the fact that if you can't afford that lifestyle, you are setting yourself up to fail. You're setting your family up to be susceptible to risk by not having margin. So typically it's a slow fade. Typically it's something that people get into a more expensive home. They upgrade their lifestyle in that way, and then it's one thing after the next that they add over a period of time. And it's not necessarily a flipping of the switch, but at the same time, what ends up happening is people live beyond their means, and then if there is some kind of blip, if there is some kind of black swan event, or if there is some kind of period of contraction in the economy, they're not prepared, and overnight their finances are untenable. And what I'm trying to encourage you to consider today is that your unsecured debt in your life is not meant to be a bailout for the expanding lifestyle that you're trying to live. So my call to action today really comes down to you looking at the aspects of your life that have gone unnoticed from the standpoint of lifestyle creep, and what aspects you need to reverse course and rewind the picture so that you are in a place where you have margin in your finances, so that you are not tapping into unsecured debt, to fund the lifestyle beyond what your means are. If this information is helpful to you, explore the Margin membership, where me and my team will help you take the information you're learning and apply it to your life and your finances. I've built an interactive course that allows me and my team to come alongside people like you to help you revamp your finances and build margin into your life. Click the link in the description below for more information.